Hello. I've occupied myself this evening with some animation, and meanwhile the video of the Princess of Wales and Prince William has been released, and it's not at all clear who these two people are. There's speculation. It hasn't dampened down the conspiracy theories. I don't suppose it will. There'll be those people who are saying, oh, that's not Kate, that's a look-alike. There's one person claiming that the Sun admits that there was photo tinkering, that there was some sort of manipulation going on. You couldn't invent a person like the princess if you tried to on a computer. Apparently this was an admission that this was an attempt to try to invent a computer-generated Catherine. In the end, nobody will believe this, even if she appears in front of a camera, in front of a large audience. We're at the point now where the doubting Thomases outnumber the believers, and this is becoming cult-like. It's absurd. There are also people who are going on the media saying, I am a monarchist but not a royalist. What's the difference? That's an interesting question. A monarchist is somebody who supports the king, but doesn't really care about the wider royal family. And I think that's an interesting position. Since George III, the wider royal family has been quite significant, particularly in the case of George III, because of the need for the regency. But maybe the wider royal family is too much of a hindrance, too much of an embarrassment. There's too many skeletons in too many cupboards. There's too many cupboards. And the king's instinct to have a trimmed-down monarchy may be absolutely right, but once you have a trimmed-down monarchy and the monarch is ill, there is a vacuum at the heart of power, at the heart of this icon of our nation. And be in no doubt, the king is a greater image of Britain than the Union flag. It's the king on our banknotes, it's the king on our stamps. It's the king we expect to see at moments of national crisis. And the absence of the king and the anxiety about the king make the fake news stories like the one that came out from Russia all the more wobbling. And my seated heart quivers, even though the news is fake. We've only just got over the death of Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. And the intimations of mortality are worrying, particularly as we approach an eclipse and the astrological people are out with their crystal balls predicting all manner of crisis, including a tsunami launched from the Canary Islands. Is this all speculation? Is this a millennium bug? Well, I think it's filling in the vacuum. I think it's filling in the void. If the media doesn't have something to discuss, it invents it. And the same thing is true, incidentally, of the Conservative Party. If Rishi Sunak cannot provide leadership, the Conservative Party will invent it, whether that comes in the form of Penny Mordaunt or Jacob Rees-Mogg or whoever is the target for the next invention. It doesn't make any difference. And I think the Labour Party has similar problems. This prudence about not saying too much is a recipe for chaos. In a media age, we need to be constantly speaking. Otherwise, those pauses, those semicolons. Actually, a semicolon is probably the only pause you can have. A semicolon is a pause within ideas, rather like Michael Foot's pause. Michael Foot had the right idea, by the way. Michael Foot paused halfway through a sentence, and then he continued, blah, 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 into the next sentence, and then there was a pause. So he hogged the room while people waited for him to finish the sentence he was on, and then he was already into the next sentence. Then they had to finish. So as a matter of courtesy, Michael Foot had found a way to manipulate courtesy, to take advantage of common courtesy, and he was brilliant at it. It's such a good technique. But at the moment, we just have people spouting slogans and not offering any debate, any structural discussion at all. It's a void with the occasional headline or slogan, whatever you want to call it. It's a void, and in the middle of that void, you've got people screaming slogans. It doesn't matter whether they're out on a march or in the House of Parliament or running a newspaper or running some sort of media outlet like GB News. They're just screaming. And we need to get down to some serious debate